You almost saw me without my sunglasses. Hello, everyone. Welcome. Barbed Wire Bite. Here, as always, with your host, Pitbull number one, Mr. Gary Wolf. How's it going today?
Very good. It's early today. It is 11 a.m.
Very, yeah, it's
Five of.
yeah, it's were you up late watching American Horror Stories?
Yes, I did watch that. Uh, I actually liked that. That was pretty good. I thought the first one was a little bit better with the dollhouse. That was freaking strange, man.
Was it me, or did you think at first like they were actually inside that dollhouse that was in his office? Like I thought he was transporting him to a another world or some shit, but I might have been like off my rocker when I watched it. I don't know.
No, he actually had a house next to his house, and that was a dollhouse, and that's where he put those chicks. I couldn't believe he did that. I mean, very crazy. And then the kid, the son was even nuts.
I like how it harkened then to like the Witch's Coven episode where they went to that coven and the crazy old lady was just a young girl at the time. I kind of liked how the tie in there. That was a good episode. I liked last night's or 2 nights ago with the girl with the cursed fucking ringtone doorbell.
That was crazy how the dead people would pick up dead people and they'd come there. And it caught me off guard because I had no idea that the husband would have had something to do with it. You know what I mean?
See,
But
my wife thought that the husband was fucking with her mind to make her go crazy, but I was like, this is in Lifetime. This is American Horror Stories.
yeah, but no, it was good. I liked it. And I ended up watching, I don't know if you saw the streaming wars of South Park Part 2.
Oh, part two's out.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
No, I just saw part one. Okay, now I know what I'm watching today because the one that part one ended where Cartman had boobs.
Well, yeah, I think that's actually part. I think that's part two.
Yeah, I think it ended where he got him. They were all calling Randy
Okay.
Karen.
Yeah. But yeah, he turned into a Karen. That was awesome.
No, I didn't know it was on. I'll have to watch that tonight.
It was. I liked it. It was pretty good. I liked it. And then, yeah, that ring gimmick was pretty wicked, man. At first, I thought it was just a gift that that girl had that she could talk to dead people. I didn't think it was because of that ring thing. But yeah, when the girl showed up, that's when I knew something was up with the guy. I didn't have any idea about the husband until the girl showed up, and then that's when I said something's going on.
I have one of those ringtones. And sometimes if the dog barks at night and I don't want to get up, I just look in it. Usually my dog's an idiot that just barks, but
Gotcha.
they come in hand. The only thing that I gotta disagree when the guy was like, you just clip it on your door. It's like you gotta fucking wire that thing in. That's like a half-hour installation. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they're like, it takes 2 seconds. We just hook it to your door. That was
No,
great. Did you happen to watch wrestling one Wednesday?
I did, and I liked some of it and I disliked some of it.
Hell of an opening match with Moxley and that Spanish guy. He looks like,
Roosh.
yeah, he looks like Andrade Zones, whatever his name is, the one that's married to Charlotte. Looks like his brother or something like that.
What was up with his back? Was that like zits, scar tissue? I mean, it was just disgusting. I was waiting for the camera to go off of it.
No, I didn't really notice it, but if he does a lot of matches in Mexico, he probably did a lot of thumbtack matches. I don't know, hardcore shit. Usually they kill their backs. They don't care.
No, they're saying now that kid that I always say I like, that Dante Martin, tweaked his
Yeah.
knee when he was fighting Sammy. But how Sammy has not had serious injuries yet is beyond me because he's insane too.
Oh, he's very reckless. Yeah, he's somebody I wouldn't mind working against, but then again, he does some things that are a little bit out of my zone. Like I'll be like, I don't think we're doing that, bro. Nah, you know. Uh,
He's got a
he,
hot woman with him though.
he had a good match. I liked the Daniels match. I didn't like the finish.
I didn't like the finish. Do you think he got hurt? Because when he did that tope, he bapped his head really hard. And I know he's got a history of concussions.
May have. I mean, they both, and like I said, there was a lot of choke outs, man. Last night, got Hook choking somebody out, uh, and then during the Daniels match, that was another choke out. It's like when I worked for WF back in the 80s, I remember 88 and 89, you couldn't even wear the same tights. Like if I had a pair of black tights on and I was wrestling another guy, just say the Hart Foundation, and they had black tights, they would tell me, change my tights, change my gear.
Makes
Like
sense.
they never, they don't do that nowadays, which blows my mind because back in the day, they would tell you, I mean, look at what he's wearing and wear the complete opposite. And I was like, all right, that's how strict it was. Now I see people wearing the same freaking gimmicks almost. I mean, it's like it was never like that before.
I noticed when we used to go to Raws, when they used to tape, like 3 weeks worth, let's say Bam Bam Bigelow came down in his flame outfit. Well, then when he came later for the show that would air next week, he had on a different outfit and the hard camera was pointed to a different part of the crowd. Whereas AEW, like tonight's show is taped right after, you're going to see the same people in the same clothes, the same people in the audience, the same signs. It does make you like, you're watching a taped show.
Yeah. No, they're working on a pay-per-view coming up soon, aren't they?
September, I think, because
yeah, the 4th or something like that.
What'd you think of Jericho weaseling his way into that again? Like, I want my rematch. Moxley, it's like, God damn. Why can't you just job out?
I don't know. I think Jericho wants to do one more run. That's how I'm thinking. He wants one more run. So
Has anyone in his gangs ever gotten over other than him?
maybe Hager. He was over
Really?
for a little bit.
What'd you think of Anna Jay's promo when she came out there? I will choke you out. I will choke you out. I was like, God, don't talk. Just stand there.
Yeah, I kind of zipped through the promos last night. I'll be honest with you. Uh, the promos, the last show I watched, I didn't like them too much, so I didn't even watch the promos this time. So
What about Vince? That's the big story.
yeah, well, it started off with a couple million. Now they're up to $14.6 million is missing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it came out of his pocket, I mean, he's going to walk and they're not going to do anything to him. If they find out, though, that him and Laurinaitis, because I can see Laurinaitis doing this kind of shit. They're stealing company's money, bro. There's going to be some problems. I don't know as far as how bad, but he may not get off this time like he did back in the day with the steroid situation. He got off on that pretty easy. But if he's giving people millions of dollars to cover up sexual harassment, he's going to burn for that, especially nowadays. I mean, if anything, he should have never been doing that kind of. I mean, back in the 80s, I'm sure he could have got away with it, but nowadays, you can't get away with that kind of shit nowadays.
I think he was set up. What do you think?
He's got a lot of enemies.
I mean, I'm sure he did it, but somebody told the Wall Street Journal. Somebody told somebody wanted him out of there.
Yeah, somebody been waiting for the chance to get him, and they finally did, and it was just a matter of time. It could be one of those girls that he, offended or tried to molest or whatever he did or paid off. You know what I'm saying? It could be one of them who already went through all that money, and it's looking to get more money.
I think somebody from the inside dimed him out so that I don't think a lot of people say it was Shane. I don't know that he ain't going to do that to his dad or no Steph, no Hunter. I could see somebody else doing it like, we'll get him out of here. My power will go up and then we can sell this company to Disney and I can make hundreds of millions of dollars. it all smells like a setup.
Well, he is getting offered a lot of money from Disney, and I don't know why. I mean, personally, even when his dad had the company back in the day and Vince was just a commentator, I don't think they realized that company would end up being worth this amount of money, And I mean, he's never gonna. He seems like he's never gonna leave it to Shane. I mean, it just does. I don't know what the problem is with that.
Stephanie and Hunter.
It's a father son thing. When a father's successful, sometimes like at least his dad, handed him the torch and said, "Run with it." I think if his father knew what he was going to do with the videotapes and he's shutting all the companies down around the country, I don't think his father would have gave him the company because his father was happy just having his own territory on the East Coast, and everybody else was making money and everybody was sharing talent. So they always had fresh talent every time they did TV, and it made a big difference, I think. And it made a big difference for all the independent guys like me, for instance. I mean, I could be working in Florida right now because I'm living in Florida, and then I would transfer and go to different states and do different territories. So it's really sucks that you know what Vince eventually did, even though he was smart doing it. It just put a lot of people out of work.
Do you think with now CM Punk, not to give him props or press, he made an interesting point. He's like, Vince didn't retire. Just because he said he retired didn't mean he retired. Do you think it's still one of them where Stephanie's like, all right, Dad, we're gonna have Brock Lesnar beat Roman Reigns? Like, oh no, Reigns gonna keep the belt, or I'm cutting you out of the inheritance. Okay, Dad. Do you think he still has power? Do you think he actually is gone?
Knowing Vince, I would still say he's in charge. He may not be said to be in charge, but I guarantee he has the last say. And I don't think he'll ever change that. I mean, like I had told you before, I mean, he was going to break it down like A, B, and C, like it was back in the 80s, man. He could have had ECW, WCW, then WWE. You know what I mean? And that would have been a great thing. He would have had a lot of guys still working. I'm sure he would have cut everybody's pay in half from WCW because they were making outstanding amounts, crazy amounts of money, some of them guys. But I mean, if you get a nice paycheck and a nice salary, I mean, and you do good on gimmicks, like your T-shirts, your all your stuff that you sell 8x10s. I mean, look at Cass and them guys back in the day. You know what I mean? They sold so many gimmicks that they were outselling the whole locker room of WWE.
Dogs.
And what they would do, instead of keeping their mouth shut, is they brag about it. That's why they would get heat in the locker room.
I wonder if my dogs see someone on the Aura phone app in there. Cause them to bark. You never know. Do you think it'll be better with the Triple H running it, or do you think it'll just be the same stuff?
I think it's going to be the same stuff. I mean, when he was running it before, what was different? I mean, they're going to push Seth Rollins even more now. Watch.
He had a longer match. I mean, if you think about it, it's like, okay, so instead of a 10-minute match, he had a 25-minute match. He like matches to go longer, but all his boys are gone. Cole, Malachi, and they all left.
I know. I mean, the guys that he liked in NXT, they all left. I mean, I was surprised about that. But, I mean, it just seems like nobody's really happy there, man. It just doesn't look like anybody's happy. Of course, The Miz is happy because he's got the Miz and Mrs. show, and he's doing great with that. I mean,
Cody's getting a nice big check being injured.
Oh, yeah, when he tore his pec, which figures as soon as he goes over there, he gets hurt. It just doesn't make any sense.
You think Arn Anderson is like mad at him because if you, at least when Cody was there, Arn's old ass would be on TV every week. Now Arn ain't there. He manages his kid once in a while on the YouTube show, but you think he's sitting there and cusses Cody every day for leaving?
I don't know. I mean, they can't. I guess they can't really say anything to him because they offered him so much money. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm sure they would have did the same thing. I'm surprised that Tully Blanchard's not working anymore there.
No, he's gone from Ring of Honor too. So they already no showed. I think he had something else to. I think his normal job, he had something to do, and that Ring of Honor pay per view kind of just got thrown together. So
Yeah. Then I heard the guy that had the belt that lost to Cesaro or whatever his name was.
Grisham,
Yeah, he wasn't too happy, and he was bitching. I don't know why. I mean, so what? It's a ROH belt. Who gives a shit about it? You
they
know what I
don't even
mean?
have TV. I
So
don't get why people order the pay per view. It's like, okay, let's order the pay per view 4 times a year, but there's no TV. What's the is it just going to bleed into AEW show? It doesn't make sense.
then you got the Briscoes who are a fucking great tag team. And I've known them guys forever. Why ain't they on TV right now? I mean, come on. They should be on television. They're a great freaking tag team. I do not understand that.
I like the FTR, but you don't have to give them every belt in every company. I get the gimmick that they're going for, but it's like, so you work for AEW and you have tag team titles everywhere but AEW. Everybody's like, well, they're going to get it and they're going to collect the belts. It's like, they're not showing these other matches on television. It never happened. If it's not on TV, it didn't happen.
Exactly. And yeah, I don't even know why they hadn't ROH fucking pay per view. But I was like, why wouldn't they just give it to you for free? It doesn't make any sense.
It'd like when they used to do the Clash of the Champions. Here you go tonight, Ring of Honor. At least you get some eyes behind it. And then again, if you look at the people that went over, Wheeler Yuta, AEW, Cesaro, AEW, the FTR, AEW. It's just all those main guys. It's the guys you see every week that are just going over.
Yeah. And I guess they're turning the Luchasaurus and then back to being heels, or I don't know what they're doing with them guys.
He seemed to forget all about Christian and go back with the Jungle Boy. Everybody's like, "Oh, his promo was so good." It was like, no, it stunk. He used a little profanity, but it
Yeah.
wasn't good. The few seconds you saw Christian Cage in the back, I thought was even better.
He has
Put you in a
great
body bag so you can lay next to your dad. I mean that's funny to me.
yeah. That's sensitive TV there.
And Luchasaurus, that was just dumb. It's like, okay, well, he's not getting over as a heel. We'll just stick him back with Jungle Boy, I guess. Or he'll turn on Jungle Boy eventually, but who knows?
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if they know what they're doing tomorrow. Put it that way. I don't think they do. If anything, they may be like Paul Heyman and ECW. They show up at a show and they don't know what's going on until the booker tells them what they're doing that night, which is a very possible that's what's happening.
Do you think with Vince leaving that'll hurt Paul? Because I don't think Paul was ever friendly with Stephanie or Hunter. He was kind of friendly with Vince, and if Vince isn't there, is Paul going to be gone soon?
I don't know, man, because you got Bruce Pritchard there, who is pretty much in control, pretty much now. I mean, he's always been there since he's been 18 years old. So, yeah, I think Vince and Paul were like buddies. You know what I mean? I can't see Stephanie and Triple H. I know they must not like him. I could just see it because Paul is always out for himself and wants to make sure he's covered. You know what I mean? Which is everybody in the business nowadays. You know what I mean? Back in the day, it was different. People would call you up if they double booked themselves and say, "Hey, man, I got an extra shot. If you're not doing nothing this weekend, you could take it because I double booked myself." Nobody does that anymore. I got a call for a show in August, and they gave it to me because somebody double booked themselves. That hasn't happened in like 5 or 6 years. So shit happens, but still, it's like back in the day, at least the boys were looking after each other, and keeping an eye on each other. And everybody had everybody's back. Where nowadays, everybody wants to stab everybody in the back. They don't care.
I want to know why Paulie doesn't shave that strip of hair.
Seriously, I mean, he's
Looks
George
so
Costanza.
bad.
It's just he's got the Costanza look. Just get rid of it. I mean, I'm surprised he got rid of. I bet Vince told him to cut the ponytail.
Yeah.
I guaranteed he told him to cut the ponytail because he'll do that.
He had a long I remember in ECW, he had a long ass ponytail. Then when he'd take a bump and his hat would go off, it's like, dude, Jesus. Because he had plenty of hair in the back. Just didn't have it on top.
Yeah, because they even made, I don't know if you remember, but Stevie Richards, he had a long hair. And when he went to Vince, Vince told him to cut his hair. When they made them guys they had to wear the white shirts with the black tie.
Right to censor.
Yeah, the right to censor gimmick that they were doing. They made him cut his hair, man, and just that pissed me off, man. Because I know how long it took to grow that hair, you know? I mean, I used to go to Japan, and if they were ribbing me, I'm like, I don't care what you do, just don't cut my hair, don't shave my head. You know what I mean? I would always bitch about that. But a lot of guys, they wouldn't do it. But still, like I said, Vince, he'll tell you to cut your hair, or even Fandango. Okay, I met Fandango, I don't know, a few months ago, and I told him I used to see him on TV all the time, and I used to love his gimmick with that Breeze kid, and they would act stupid and be cops and stuff. I said
Yeah, that was
that
funny.
was hilarious, man. It was kind of funny. I said it's a shame they don't do that anymore. But you got to remember, he said he was there 15 years, and Vince would tell him you got to lose weight because he's normally, he's a very tall guy. Number one, number two, he would be well over 250 pounds, his normal weight. So he would have to stay lean because, I mean, the way he told me was you can't be a dancer and be fat. You know what I'm saying? Or too big, to be a salsa dancer. So that was his gimmick. And Vince made him stay skinny, man. He said, you got to be skinny. You can't put weight on. And eventually, after, being so many years over there, he just couldn't take it no more. Because when he left Vince, I don't know if you realize, he put on about 50 pounds like right away. Put the weight right back on.
Vince told me to grow my top of my sides of my hair out and shave my beard. I'd do it without thinking.
Oh yeah, especially if he's gonna be paying you. I mean, who
Yeah,
cares?
that's
If that's the hardest thing you got to do is cut your hair. Shit, it's gonna grow back. I wouldn't care either. But
well,
some
mine
guys,
stopped growing back. So
yeah, that's the only thing I'm afraid. If I do shave my head, it doesn't come back.
soon I'll be able to just put this in a ponytail. So then everything will be balanced out because I can't wear it. I guess I could still do the Paul Heyman where I had a ponytail. It just I don't want to wear a hat 24 hours a day.
I heard that helps you lose hair.
It could be.
Wearing
I used to always wear a hat.
I always used to hear that if you wear a baseball hat all the time, you'll end up going bald. I'm like, what? I really never. I mean, I'd wear them once in a while. The other question I was thinking of. What do you think's going? What about this fucking global warming, dude? What's going on? There's fires in England. There's fires all over the country. How hot has it been where you are?
We cooled off. We were like in the hundreds. Then we cooled off. We had a day we had 71, 82, 85. Today's 90, and then straight back into the hundreds again for a week. But you know, I don't have to mow twice a week, so I'm okay so far.
Yeah, down here we're getting. It's been hot, but it's been raining so much. It's like the guy that cuts my grass. I mean, shit, he's got to cut the grass. Like you said, probably twice every 10 days. I mean, it's just coming up so quick.
We're not getting any rain. We're in a drought. But when I was a kid here in the Midwest, we'd get 20 feet of snow, on average for throughout the whole, 4 months of winter. Maybe we get a foot now at best, over the span of 4 months, which I'm not complaining. I don't like to shovel.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Everything's just strange. I mean, just rainstorms like in Kentucky. You're talking just a rainstorm, not a thunderstorm, not a fucking hurricane or nothing like that, and it's flooding places out of control. Like even Texas is the same way. One day of rains there and everything's flooded. I don't get that. I don't remember it seeing that when we were kids either, to be honest with you.
Everything's nuts. What about this fucking fourth case of monkeypox reported here, Ryan? The only thing about that, it's gross as shit. It usually doesn't kill you. It's usually just a bunch of fucking sores. So I don't deem it as bad as COVID. But they're like, we got to make this a global emergency. It's like, what the
Yeah,
fuck? How many global emergencies we got now?
that's what I'm saying. When was the last time you heard that we had a problem with the monkeypox? I mean,
Never. I didn't know what the
never.
fuck it was.
I mean, I heard about it in Africa and stuff like that, and I would hear that we had maybe one or two cases here and there, but now all of a sudden there's like 200 cases in New York. Or if anything, it's a dirty disease. It seems like it's trans. You can get it easily by touching each other and stuff like that. So I don't know if it's a dirty. I don't. It seems very dirty. You know what I mean? That's what it seems like.
My thing, let's say Joe A got monkeypox and gave it to Joe B. Joe B's got to be the most popular guy in the world if a month later he's giving it to another 200 people. That's all this stuff. Just, I have to say it, and I'm not one of them guys. All this, I still say it with COVID. This really strikes me as some type of chemical warfare that got loose on accident or on purpose, for all we know.
It just seems like once they did the COVID thing, now it's everything. You know what I mean? Even my doctors are asking me, did you get your flu shot? Did you get this shot? Did you get that shot? I'm like, no, no, and no. I'm like, dude, I'm enough with the shots. It's crazy.
I took a couple of COVID tests last week. I got bad allergies. And I'm like, okay, sore throat, allergies. Then you read the new variant, you can smell and taste. The new symptoms are scratchy throat, runny nose. Like, fuck. So I take the test, fine. And I always do it 2 in a row, fine.
Well,
And
that,
then, I felt better. But it's like, God damn, there is no such thing as a virus that can evolve. I don't, this, I still say it was made.
absolutely, I agree with you on that. And like I said, like I said last week, I had a head cold, mild, dry cough. Uh, Pretty much felt like shit. Didn't feel like doing anything. Called the doctor up for the phone call, and she wanted to charge me for a visit or just calling her up and say, "Can you just call in some medicine for me?" I said, I'm going to see you on the 27th anyway. And she tried to hit me for another payment, which pissed me off. I couldn't believe that these doctors are doing that. Like, it's like you doubled your money. I mean, they're having people come in their office now, and then in the meantime, they're still doing those televisits because they tell me I don't have to come in. I can just call in, and that's what I do. And they're happy to take my money, man. And they sit on the phone and talk to me for what, 10 minutes, and it's like bang, pay them.
Yeah, I do the online therapy thing because it's a fucking racket here. Because I remember just to get an appointment here, it was like I had to go see my normal doctor for a referral who took my blood pressure. So you want to go see a psychiatrist? I say, I think I should. We'll write your referral. It's like, the fuck, couldn't you just send me an email? So, and then it's like, okay, we'll get you in the next 2.5 months. It's like, fuck this, www. Okay, I'm in. And they even give you medicine. So
It's weird, man. It's like even my boy, he just got out of the hospital. He had to get a new pacemaker. And, you know, every 12 months or 6 months, you should get that pacemaker checked out. And they don't even do that with him. And I'm like, well, you got to stay on top of it. Like you got to get new doctors. It's like all of a sudden these doctors just don't have time. And I don't know if they're seeing too many patients because, I mean, they want to see him once every 6 months. I mean, is that hard to put somebody in? That takes 6 months to get an appointment.
yeah, I'm once a year. I have to make the appointment basically when I leave for the next year. It's like,
Yeah, it's just ridiculous, man.
and it's a
It's like
30-second appointment.
that's what I'm saying. That's how much money these people are making. Every time you want to go see a neurologist, you're going to wait 30 to 60 days. That's how much cash these people are bringing in. And it seems like every time you're at your regular primary doctor, they want to send you somewhere to get this blood work done or that blood work done. And they just don't leave you alone. Every month it's something else.
My wife, about what was it, 5 6 weeks ago, she had to have that biopsy done. So they took all her blood and everything like that. Well, not to give away my wife's business, not that she watches this show. She became convinced that she had what's that shit that people fibromyalgia. And I said, "Hun, I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't sleep, you're stressed out, and you're grossly out of shape. That's your problem. But a doctor will make you feel better." She goes to the doctor, and the same doctor that saw her for all this other stuff. All right, I'm gonna take your blood. It's like, well, what? It's been a month. How the fuck could it have changed already? At $200, that your blood works fine. No shit. And the problem is you don't sleep. So I'm going to give you trazodone. And she's like, "What's this do?" I was like, "I don't know." I said, "It's been a long time since I snorted it, but I said, I seem to remember it makes me feel pretty damn good back in the day." My dog takes it actually.
Dude, I know they gave me medicine to give my dog. I'm like, why do I have to get my dog high before I take it to the vet? And they're like, "This is too big." And he just has a funny thing. You can't touch his paws or his ears.
We have to do it for Hank. We have to trazodone him before he goes to the vet.
Yeah, so they told me I gotta give him some kind of stuff to make him mellow out. And I'm like, fuck, I just don't. I said, if something happens to my dog, if I give this to him, you better be ready because I'm not coming in there to say hello. That's for sure.
I work, down here, and I moved a couch there, love seat down here. Fuck, Hank's upstairs now, but the other day he just comes down here and lays on the couch now. I think he just wants to be by somebody.
Yeah, that's how. I mean, I rescued the big boy zombie here, and he transferred pretty well. I mean, I have another dog, and she's 12, and this dog right here, he just turned 5. So, but he's 110 pounds, man. He's a big boy. I mean, it's funny. People walk by my window, and I leave my door open on purpose so they can see the dog, and they're just like, "Oh shit!" Like they know we ain't getting near that door. There's no way. He's just 110 pounds, man. He's not a small dog. His paws are like huge. But I couldn't leave him in the pound. I had to rescue this dog. I had to. I had to.
Yeah, Hank's 105. Roxy, our big lab, she's got Crohn's and she's getting older, so she lost more weight. I think she's in the 70s now. So we have to, once again, every fucking month, she's got her $250 appointment to get checked, which it's like, okay, I get that. But if it's every month, come on. Does it have to cost $250 a month?
No, I pay like 50, $40, $50 a month for my one dog. The other one I haven't set up with insurance yet. But they have these allergy shots. They're like $280. And then you got that other medicine, Aquaquil. I mean, they fucking actually have a commercial for that on television. It's a pill for a dog. They got pills for kids, pills for dogs, pills for cats. I've never seen so many damn commercials for pills anymore in my life.
No,
It's
when the
crazy.
when the doc told me, she was like, "Well, what do you take?" And I'm like Tony Soprano. I take the Prozac. I don't fuck around. And she was like, "It doesn't seem to help you." She's like, "What's your milligram?" I was like, 20 milligrams. She's like, "Okay, that's what we would give a teenage girl." She's like, "You should be on
Yeah.
60 milligrams." She's like, "But we're going to start you up first at 40." And I was like, "Okay. Now, if you have any trouble sexually, we can get you a prescription." It's like, "No, I'm okay." Okay, well, if you should gain any weight, we got a prescription. It's like, my God, by the time it's said and done, you'll be taking 40 fucking pills.
That's how it is. Like I was on metformin, and metformin makes you cough. So during the pandemic, who wants to be coughing during a pandemic? You know what I mean? So then they give you another pill to take to stop you from coughing. Then, of course, the metformin affects your kidneys and could hurt your liver and kidneys. So they got to give you another pill for that. So now that one pill turned into 3 pills, and it just made me feel like shit every day. I never felt good. And I had to stop. I just changed my diet, dropped 20 pounds, and I got off all that shit, flushed it down the toilet, and I won't even take it ever again. It was killing me, I think.
There's a blood pressure pill I take that lowers your potassium. Guess what? potassium prescription. It's like, fuck.
And then if your potassium's too high, you could freaking die. So it's like, what do? You know what I mean?
What happened? Just eat a banana.
So what do you think about this Ric Flair match?
I'm not paying $50 to fucking watch it. It's a tag match. He's gonna do nothing.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know why they would even make it a pay-per-view. They should give it away for free. I don't get it.
Do you really think it's his last match?
No,
No
not
one.
Rick. If he got in shape for one match, he's going to stay in shape and he'll wrestle till he dies in the ring. That's how
I had such a good time. Woo, I'm gonna do it again. And Terry Funk retired how many fucking times?
I don't know, 7, 8. I was at one of his retirements at ECW. We had a big banquet and everything. And
Yeah, I remember I bought the tape because
later
they
he
even
came
sold the
back.
tape of the banquet.
Yeah, he's a couple months later he came back because I remember his wife and kids were there. They weren't happy, and he was 60 something years old, still doing moonsaults off the top rope. I couldn't believe it.
The thing is, though, in case of Funk, he's married, kids. He didn't have 5 divorces. Maybe Rick needs a payday. Okay, I can see that. But now he's already saying, it's my last one, Daddy. They've already offered me, which I don't believe. There's been a promoter in England offered me $100,000 for a match. It's like, and if you didn't take it, you're a fucking moron. No, nobody's offering you anything.
Yeah, when he would make that money, he would go to Japan 3 times and he would work 3 shows in 2 days if he had to. And that's flying back and forth. He don't care. He would do that. So even Jericho is making about 100 grand a match in Japan right now. I guarantee that.
Well, I mean, the thing about though Ric Flair's last match, Ric Flair and Andrade against Jay. I think it's Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. Wow.
Well, you got Jay Lethal who could imitate Ric Flair great. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's going to be a Gaga match or what's going to happen. But like I said, you got Jeff Jarrett. It doesn't make sense. You know what I mean? You would have thought, Ric Flair, you would have a better opponent. We'll put it that way.
Well, they wanted Steamboat, but Steamboat was like, no, my last little thing I had was so good and everybody liked it. That's how you're going to remember me.
Yeah.
Which is, it's smart.
I don't blame Ricky at all. He had a great career. I mean, I've been to his gym. He's got a beautiful house, beautiful gym.
He's still married to Bonnie.
I think so, yeah. And he's got a house on an island in the Carolinas, which is beautiful. Yeah, when I met him, he was working for Vince, and Vince actually sent him to a circus for 2 weeks to learn how to, shoot the fire out of his mouth when he was doing the dragon gimmick. I thought it was pretty crazy. He's like, yeah, Vince is flying me out to a circus in Florida. He goes, so I'll be there 2 weeks. I'm gonna learn how to breathe fire. And I was just like, wow, this is pretty, it's pretty crazy, But that's how intense Vince was. He wanted him to do it. He don't care what you have to do to learn. If he wants you to do something, he'll teach you one way or another. He'll get it done.
I remember when Ricky was fighting Flair, and Flair had all like the women with him. I think it was insinuated they were call girls. And then here comes Steamboat, and he's got Bonnie with him. Good looking lady. He's got that little fucking baby with him. And Ric Flair, I'm with the family value. And that crowd just turned on him. They were all chanting for Flair. It was like, I mean, Ricky's wife was pretty, but goddamn, she was killing his gimmick left and right coming out there with him.
Yeah, everybody, you got to remember back then, everybody wanted to be Ric Flair, and that's how NWA was. I mean, if you watch that show, it was more adult driven show compared to a WWE show, which was all about kids. You got the Hulk Hogan, superheroes, and their main money income was children, and if the kids want to go to the show, the parents are going to take them and they're going to pay $75 a ticket and not even care,
Are you going to order Ric Flair's last match?
No way.
Are you going to order the roast? Because for $100, you can get the roast and the last match.
I've seen. I mean, what are they going to say that I haven't heard already about
You
Rick?
alcoholic, you divorced, you he roasts himself. I don't have to roast him. I can just read an article.
Just watch his documentary. The documentary that they added the 30 minutes to because they had to add that because he was in the hospital and almost died. I mean, that documentary is fucking great. I mean, when he goes to a psychiatrist and talks to a psychiatrist, and before the hour's done, he's in the psychiatrist's chair, and the psychiatrist is laying down on the couch because he can't believe what he's listening to. It's true, though.
Yeah, Rick was I mean, I guess it's a payday. He'll get a I'm sure he's gonna get a it's his son-in-law putting it on. He'll get a nice check. I'm not worried that anything's gonna happen to him in the ring because he'll come in, Andrade will come in, Flair will come in for a little bit, he'll tag Andrade again. Andrade will take all the heat, he'll tag in Flair, Flair come in, woo woo, do a few moves, and then the all four of them will start fighting, and somehow Rick will get a pin.
Yeah.
I guarantee you that's what'll happen because you have to protect a 70 something year old man.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I get it. In his mind, he's feeling good, and I understand that. But when you get in the ring, I mean, at 70, that's freaking scary, man. I don't know. He has to be very careful because, and plus, he's working. Who's ever he working with has to be careful too. I mean, God forbid. You know what I mean?
I can't see Jarrett working stiff by any means. He's old too.
Well, I'm older than Jarrett, not by much, maybe a year. Because every time we see each other, he's looking at me, I'm looking at him. We're always trying to figure out who's older, you know?
I never got into the Double J. I saw him in Memphis, thought he had a nice drop kick, but he was the owner's kid. Went to
That's
Vince.
when I worked for his dad, he was on the show and he was the champ, you know? And I remember he had the long blonde hair and his father pushed the living shit out of him. And I remember me and Jerry Lynn, it was the Pitbulls and Jerry Lynn and somebody else. And we were somewhere in Tennessee, packed house. And by accident, Jerry took a face bump and he happened to hit like the metal happened to be sticking up where the apron is, and it busted his head wide open. And he had color during our match, and I remember just going in the back, and Jarrett's father would be snapping out. Jeff Jarrett would be snapping out because their main event, and they were saving the blood for their match, and we're like, look, we didn't do it on purpose. It was an accident, and they didn't want to hear it. They didn't want to hear it. And I remember I just saw Jerry Lynn maybe 2 months ago. We were talking about it, and he happened to bring it up. He's like, yeah, man, you don't even remember, but the next day we wrestled, I was still kind of like, all I have to do is tap it. It's going to start bleeding again. And that's what happened. He goes, and they yelled at me again for that. And they were like threatening not to pay me and all this shit. I was like, no way. Because back then they would give us $50 a night as a draw, they would say. And then they would tell us, okay, we're going to give you a paycheck at the end of the week. We never seen a paycheck. We were just making $50 a night, and they were putting that in our pockets and trying to keep us quiet. Because I remember at the end of the week, I'm like, where's my paycheck? And they would just laugh. You ain't getting no paycheck. Because everybody would say that. That's how it was, man.
I remember Honky Tonk Man was talking about when he worked for the Fullers, and he's like, yeah, they'd give you $200 the same day that they had a bunch of weed and coke come in that they sold you for more than the $200. I always thought that was funny.
That's how every locker room was back in the day. I mean, even Vince was handing out steroids like it was going out of style at one point. I mean, when we showed up there, the boys were paying $200 for a $50 bottle of test, you know. And Vince knew they had the money because he was paying them.
Yeah.
But he was trying to get half his money back every week. Because I remember all the boys were bitching. They're like, because I would even tell them, I'm like, you paid how much for that? I'd even tell them, I'm like, I can get you that for half the price, And they would ask me, But this, you got to remember, this is the late '80s, and it was pretty much legal back then. A lot of people out and about today.
You're gonna have to color your hair pretty soon.
Nah, I'm letting the gray come in. I don't care.
Oh, all right. Yeah, I always have to color my beard because I don't
Nah,
have that. I don't have that distinguished, like the white or that good looking gray. I get like Aunt B, where it's fucking shades of blue. So I just have to keep coloring it.
oh, you're. It's like the old people down here in Florida, the blue hairs we call
Yeah, that's what I get. I don't have that real nice distinguished gray, like a Steve Martin or somebody like that. I just have blue.
Well, my grandfather had white hair, white mustache, blue eyes. He was a Sicilian from Italy. Uh, I'm hoping if it comes in that way, I'll keep it white. I don't care. I'm not gonna. I don't want to dye my hair because I don't have to dye it all the time, and I'm 55 years old now, man. So it's like I don't give a shit.
Better to have it and be gray than be like me, although I still keep toying with that transplant idea.
Nah, listen. I mean, I've had long hair, and they could get on your nerves.
Oh yeah, mine used to be long. I still
I'm
don't
not
think
gonna comment.
Jericho's hair is all real
I'm not gonna comment on that.
because he's got a awful when he falls a certain way. There's a whole lot of nothing here that seems to always be. I don't know. I think there's something there. I don't know if he's got a weave or a plugs, but that's not all hair.
Well, he's got to be my age, maybe a little younger than me. Maybe he's like a year or two, maybe
He's in
older.
his 50s. I know that much.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm in Spring Hill where he lives. His parents lived here. I think he might have moved them. I'm not sure exactly, but I know he has a hairstylist that's in Spring Hill. I know that. So, but you got to remember, I had my own hairstylist too when I was in ECW. Before TV, I would always go to the same guy. You know what I mean? Even Raven did. We all did. So, especially back
Raven
then,
had beautiful hair.
we all had good long hair back then. We would just let it grow. We didn't care, and it was the look, and we just kept growing. I mean, nobody even had tattoos in ECW until we started getting them, and then everybody started getting them. It
I
was
remember
crazy.
Taz had that tribal tattoo, which I never got into the tribal tattoos. Those started to get really big around that time. I remember that's what you have, isn't it, on your one arm?
Yeah, but I haven't. It's not. It's black, green, gold, yellow. I don't have the old like they have the black and white. You know what I'm saying? The old school. I wanted to do something a little different, so I just used a little bit different colors and stuff like that. Yeah, but me and my partner, we would go out. We had people offering to do tattoos on us for free just because we were on television. So I remember getting 12-hour tattoos done and shit like that, not even caring. Then my guy that will do me and my partners got so popular, he would end up moving to California, working in Los Angeles. You know what I mean? Making bank now. So he used our tattoos and moved to California. Now he's doing great. So I guess we don't get no more free ones.
I like tattoos. I'm tattooing this whole side of my body. They're working on my arms done, chest is done. They're working on the leg now. So
Yeah, I want to get my left side done. I haven't just had a chance yet. So I want to get some kind of Samoan tat, but they're so expensive. They're going to run
yeah,
$2,000 easily.
my guy takes good care of me, but he also knows he's doing an entire side of my body. Plus, I got stuff on the other side anyway. But yeah,
Yeah,
it adds up though at the end. I mean, because nothing is just a sitting now. It's your outline. Then it's back for the color. Then it's the touch up. Then we work on the next part, and then it's you keep
honestly, I
going
like
back.
doing it that way. I love doing the outlines first because I usually get no scabs. It usually heals really well. Then I go back to get the color done or whatever, the inside. I don't
I'd
have a
rather just
problem.
sit there.
Yeah, I mean, the longest I've sat was well over 8 hours.
Yeah, I had an over 5 one once. The only thing then the artist starts to every so often his hands start to cramp up in that. So I get why they don't want to do it that long on the same person, but I don't know. I like to just certain parts of the body. It's like just fucking this hurts so bad. Just finish it now.
Oh yeah, especially when you get up to the neck. I wasn't ready for that.
He's doing my knee and in the back where you bend. That just sucks. They just sit there like this.
Yeah, nah, I don't like that either. But I don't know. My next tat's gonna probably be my left arm, right bicep, my left bicep, all that stuff will probably be the next one.
Don't do your feet. That
No,
fucking
my
hurts
friend did
too.
that. A friend of mine did that. He put actually skulls on his feet, and
I
he
got a
said
big
it was
cross.
painful. He said it
Yeah.
was super painful.
Now my
So
wife didn't blink. She got her foot done. Thought none of it. They got to her ankle. She was in agony. They did my ankle. I didn't care. They started doing my foot. I think I held my breath for 40 minutes.
the well, it's true. I mean, one thing's true: girls can handle pain a lot better than men can. I mean, they could give birth. So
Yeah.
shit. They a lot of girls I've seen just sit there and not even bother them. Where I know guys are freaking losing their shit, especially in their back or their stomach. I heard that's really rough. A lot of
Stomach
nerves.
sucks. When they get to your belly button, it hurts bad.
The Bruise Brothers told me about that. They said it was brutal getting their stomach done.
Up here's okay. All this is okay. Once you get down here,
It's crazy.
more nerves, but it looks
That's
cool.
all right, man. So nothing's really happening as far as on my end. Uh, got a couple shows coming up in September. I'll be in Toms River, New Jersey, on the 2nd of September. Trying to get a date on the 3rd. That's a Saturday. I'll let people know about that. But yeah, come out there for September 2nd, Toms River, New Jersey. I'll be hanging out there. I'll be actually tagging up with PJ, just incredible. So we'll have a good match against two other guys. Uh, Monster, like I said, Horror Story show started again, so make sure you guys watch that. That's pretty awesome. I'm waiting for season 2 to kick in on Dope Sick. That's starting in January. I don't know if you've seen season 1, but you got to check it out.
I'm currently watching for the first time ever Boardwalk Empire.
Okay, that's a long series, bro.
Yeah, I like Steve Buscemi. I can't believe it escaped me. It must have been busy that time frame it came out.
No, it was insanity there. It's about Atlantic City, so
Yeah.
I actually enjoy that. I was actually, I mean, that goes way back, but when I worked in AC, the mafia owned the fucking local 54 and all the unions, so you couldn't get fired, especially
Hey,
if you're
I'd
connected.
I'd mob up if I could. Shit, I ain't ashamed to admit it.
Hell no. They always have your back.
Hmm.
So that was a good thing. But
Paul
look, I'm going to head
Sorvino
out.
passed away. I do want to mention that. I liked him. Paul
Oh,
Sorvino,
yeah.
Paulie from Goodfellas, rest in peace.
Yeah, it's a shame. A lot of them guys are dropping. It's a shame. But listen, I'm going to head out. Thanks for having everything working, Doc. Appreciate it.
No, we'll get this up and then we'll be back next week.
Yes. Get ready. We got some football coming up starting August 4th, I think it's going to be. We got the Hall of Fame game, the Raiders, and I think it's the Jaguars. So it should be pretty cool. So if you're into football, get ready. It's starting to kick in soon. All right, guys. I'll see you next week. Pitbull out.